Hello, my name is Dr. Arthur Finch. I am an 82-year-old dentist, and for nearly 6 decades, I have run a small, quiet practice in the heart of my city. Some might say that at 82, I should be enjoying a well-deserved retirement. But today, just like every other weekday, I will stand over a patient, my hands steady, looking into the landscape of their mouth, and in that landscape, I see more than just teeth and gums. I see the story of a life. I see the subtle shifts that tell me a person is thriving, and I see the telltale signs of a foundation beginning to crumble, because that is what happens. A tooth doesn't just fall out one day. It begins with a slow, almost imperceptible loosening. It starts with a little pink on your toothbrush, and once that process of decay begins, it accelerates with terrifying speed. Bleeding gums are not a minor annoyance. They are a warning siren, signaling that the collapse has already begun. You might be thinking about implants, about the expensive and often painful procedures that come after the loss. But that is a conversation for the end of a battle. Today, we are going to talk about how to stop the war from ever truly starting. This isn't a story that begins in a sterile dental clinic. It's a story that begins in your bathroom, in front of your own mirror. When you picture an 82-year-old man, what comes to mind? A man in a wheelchair, perhaps? Someone resting in a hospital bed. That is not me. I still stand and work for 12 hours a day, fully engaged and focused. The younger dentists in my building often ask me, "Dr. Finch, how can you possibly stand for that long? What's your secret?" The secret is right here, inside my own mouth. I still have all 28 of my natural teeth. My gums are a healthy, firm, pink. My teeth are strong. I can still bite into a crisp apple without a moment's hesitation. This was not a matter of luck. It was a matter of necessity, born from one of the most painful experiences of my life. A son's guilt. A doctor's vow. My mother was my world. When she was 77 years old, her gums began to fail her. She had lived with diabetes for most of her adult life, a condition that required constant vigilance. We knew it made her more susceptible to infections, but we never truly understood the connection to her oral health until it was almost too late. Her gums became inflamed and began to recede. Her teeth, once so strong, started to loosen in their sockets. The bacteria from her periodontal disease, a silent and relentless infection, didn't stay in her mouth. They entered her bloodstream, traveling throughout her body and wreaking havoc on her already compromised system. It was then I realized, with a chilling clarity that haunts me to this day, that gum disease is never just a mouth problem. It is a systemic problem. Watching my mother suffer was a profound education. Losing her teeth was about so much more than just the inability to chew. Her speech became slurred and difficult to understand, a source of constant frustration and embarrassment. She couldn't eat properly, and her nutritional state declined rapidly. As her body weakened, her overall health spiraled downwards. But the most heartbreaking loss was her smile. She, who had a laugh that could light up a room, began to cover her mouth whenever she spoke. She started avoiding social gatherings, withdrawing from the friends and activities that had brought her so much joy. She lost her confidence, her vitality, her very sense of self. Have you ever experienced a moment like that? A moment of profound helplessness as you watch someone you love in pain. I was a dentist. My entire professional life was dedicated to preventing this exact kind of suffering, and yet, there I was, watching my own mother fade away, armed with all my knowledge and feeling utterly powerless. The guilt was a heavy cloak I wore every single day. That was the moment I made a vow. I would not only help my mother, but I would spend the rest of my career ensuring that my patients, and indeed I myself, would be protected from this fate. I would save our teeth until the very end. I knew that the existing, conventional treatments were not enough. They were interventions, not solutions. I needed something more fundamental. So, I combined the best of clinical treatment with a radical overhaul of her daily habits at home. I became her coach, her student, and her partner in this fight. What happened next can only be described as a miracle. Within 3 months, my mother's blood sugar, which had been dangerously high in the 200 seconds, stabilized in the 160 seconds. The teeth that had been wobbling in her gums began to firm up, anchoring themselves back into healing tissue. After 6 months, she was eating steak and biting into apples again. Her energy returned. Her speech cleared. And one afternoon, I saw it. Her full, uninhibited, beautiful smile. That experience gave me an unshakable conviction. It taught me that even in moments when it seems too late, the body has a remarkable capacity to heal. Our gums can and will recover, if only we give them the right tools and the right care. Now, I am going to share those methods with you. It is essential that you listen to this entire explanation, from beginning to end. Each piece builds upon the last. End quote. If you miss a step, or apply a technique incorrectly, you could do more harm than good. This is the culmination of a lifetime of experience, and I offer it to you now in the hope that you can preserve your own health and your own smile for a lifetime to come. Pillar 1. The hidden enemy and the power of water. Do you know the one place in your mouth that your toothbrush, no matter how diligently you use it, can never effectively clean? It's the tiny, tight spaces between your teeth. This is ground zero. This is where food particles and bacteria accumulate, forming a toxic sludge that initiates the inflammation that leads to gum disease. No matter how vigorously you brush, you cannot adequately clean these areas. I'll never forget Mr. Leave, Samuel Jones. He was 81 years old when he first walked into my office, a look of resigned defeat on his face. 2 of his front teeth were so loose they visibly moved when he spoke. "I suppose you'll have to pull them, Doc," he said, his voice heavy. "It's a nightmare to eat. Every time I talk, I feel them shifting. It's embarrassing." He told me he had already been to another dentist who had recommended immediate extraction followed by an implant, but I wasn't ready to give up. I took a detailed X-ray and saw that the roots of his teeth were still healthy. The problem wasn't the teeth themselves. It was the severely inflamed gum tissue that was no longer holding them securely. The foundation was crumbling. I sat down with Mr. Jones and, instead of a treatment plan, I showed him a small device, a water flosser. I explained in great detail how to use it. He was skeptical. "I'm 81. Doctor, I've never used a gadget like this in my life. Are you sure I can manage it?" he asked, his brow furrowed with doubt. I reassured him that it was simpler than it looked, and that he only needed to start slowly. I asked him to come back in 3 weeks. When he returned, he was a different man. He walked in with a broad smile, and his teeth were perfectly still. The puffiness and redness in his gums had vanished, replaced by a healthy, pale pink. "It's unbelievable. Dr. Finch," he exclaimed, his eyes shining. "I truly can't believe it. To think I was about to lose my teeth, and all it took was this." His joy was palpable, a memory I still cherish. Here is the secret to making this simple tool work for you. Start low and slow. Begin with the water flosser on its lowest pressure setting. If you start with a high-pressure jet, you can actually bruise or damage your delicate gum tissue. Use it for just 1 minute a day to start. As your gums become healthier and less sensitive, you can gradually increase the pressure and the duration. Use lukewarm water. Cold water can be a shock to sensitive teeth and gums. Tepid, lukewarm water is much more comfortable and just as effective. Be thorough. Methodically trace the gum line of each tooth, both on the outside and the inside. Pay special attention to the spaces between the teeth and the hard-to-reach areas around your back molars. Brush afterwards. This is a crucial step that many people miss. The water flosser is designed to dislodge larger food particles and flush out bacteria from between the teeth. It is an incredible tool for power washing your mouth. However, it does not remove the fine, sticky film of plaque that clings to the tooth surface. You must always follow up with a proper brushing to remove that plaque. Keep it clean. Clean the nozzle of your water flosser once a week with a little soap and water to prevent bacteria from building up. Most manufacturers recommend replacing the tip every 3 to 6 months. A word of caution: if you have very severe, advanced gum disease with deep pockets or an acute, painful infection, please consult a dentist before starting. Used incorrectly in these situations, a water flosser could potentially worsen the problem. Also, if you have dental implants, This tool is your best friend for keeping the area around the implant post clean and healthy. Right now, run your tongue along the spaces between your teeth. Do you feel a slight roughness or texture? That is a biofilm of bacteria. That is the beginning of the problem. And inflammation is only a matter of time. Pilar 2. The gentle art of brushing. Most people have been taught to brush their teeth incorrectly. We have been led to believe that more force equals a better clean. We scrub our teeth as if we're trying to remove baked-on grime from a pan. This is a profound and damaging misunderstanding. Proper brushing is not about scrubbing. It's about massaging. It should be a gentle, therapeutic act for your gums. Here is the correct technique. Tilt your toothbrush to a 45-degree angle, placing the bristles right where your gums meet your teeth. This is the critical zone. Then, instead of scrubbing back and forth, move the brush in small, gentle, circular motions. The pressure should come not from your arm, but from the gentle rotation of your wrist. The bristles of the brush should simply maintain contact, gently sweeping away the plaque. Let me tell you about Mrs. Eleanor Vance. She was 75 and came to me with a problem that is all too common. Her gums bled every single time she brushed. "Doctor, I just have to touch my gums with the brush, and they start bleeding," she explained, her voice filled with anxiety. "It makes me afraid to brush properly." This is a vicious cycle I see every day. The bleeding makes people brush more timidly and avoid the gum line éter. This allows more bacteria to accumulate, which in turn causes more inflammation and more bleeding. I introduced Mrs. Broding Vance to a quality electric toothbrush. Like Mr. Jones, she was hesitant at first. "Oh, I don't know if I can handle one of those complicated things," she said. But I explained that a good electric toothbrush is actually much easier to use than a manual one. It does the gentle, circular motion for you. All you have to do is guide it along your teeth. Crucially, I recommended a model with a pressure sensor. This is a game-changing feature. If you press too hard, the brush will stop vibrating or emit a warning sound, preventing you from damaging your gums and enamel. You can find excellent models from brands like Oral-B or Philips Sonicare, and a good one doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive. 2 weeks later, at her follow-up appointment, the bleeding had completely stopped. "It's like magic. Doctor," she said, her relief evident. "No more blood when I brush." I can't believe it. Today, she comes in for her regular 6-month checkups, and I can honestly say her gum health is better than that of most people in their 50s. Here's how to choose and use your brush correctly. Whether it's electric or manual, choose soft bristles. If you use a manual brush, always choose one labeled soft. Medium or hard bristles are far too abrasive and will, over time, literally wear away both your gums and the surface of your teeth. Get the right size. The head of your toothbrush should be about the size of your thumbnail. If it's too large, you won't be able to maneuver it to properly clean the inner surfaces of your back teeth. Take your time. You need to brush for a minimum of 3 minutes. Most people rush through it in under a minute, which is simply not enough time. A good method is to divide your mouth into 4 quadrants: upper right, upper left, lower right, lower left, and spend 45 seconds on each section. Many electric toothbrushes have a built-in timer that will pulse every 30 seconds to help you with this. Don't forget the inside. The areas people most often miss are the inner surfaces of the back molars and the inner surfaces of the bottom front teeth. Pay extra attention to these spots. Are you still scrubbing your teeth with force? Please stop. You are not cleaning them. You are abrading them. The key is to be gentle, thorough, and to take your time. Pilar 3. The final polish. Perfecting the clean. Statistics from decades of dental research tell a sobering story. About 60% of all cavities in adults start in the spaces between the teeth. No matter how well you brush, you cannot completely remove the bacterial film from these contact points. This is where interdental cleaning becomes not just an option, but an absolute necessity. This is the job of interdental brushes and dental floss. Let me share the story of Mr. David Chen. He was a 7-8-year-old grandfather who lived with his children and grandchildren, but a shadow had fallen over his golden years. He came to my office with a problem that was deeply affecting his family life: chronic bad breath. "Doctor," he confided in me, his voice low with sadness. "My grandchildren, they say my breath smells bad. They don't want to get close to me anymore. It breaks my heart." His daughter had even started nagging him about brushing his teeth properly, not understanding that he was already incredibly diligent, brushing 3 times a day without fail. The problem, as I discovered during his examination, was not his brushing habits. It was the spaces between his teeth. They were packed with old food debris and bacteria, a festering source of the foul odor. This was the cause of his bad breath. I carefully showed him how to use a set of tiny interdental brushes. At first, he was resistant. "Do I really need to use another thing? It seems like such a hassle." But I urged him to just try it once. As he guided the small brush between his teeth and pulled it out, he stared in astonishment. The brush was coated in a yellowish, foul-smelling residue. "All of that was in my mouth?" he asked, his eyes wide. The results were astonishingly fast. In just 3 days, his bad breath had completely vanished. When he returned a week later, he was overjoyed. "Doctor," my grandson sits on my lap again. When I read to him, he said, beaming, "He is now one of the most fervent advocates for interdental cleaning I know. Here is your guide to finishing the job perfectly. Choose the right size." Interdental brushes come in many different sizes. Start with the smallest one. The brush should slide into the space between your teeth easily, without you having to force it. If the space is too tight for even the smallest brush, that's when you should use dental floss. Gentle motions. Insert the brush and gently move it back and forth 2 or 3 times. That's it. Don't jam it in or use excessive force. Flossing technique. If you're using floss, take a piece about 12 to 15 inches long. Wrap most of it around the middle fingers of both hands. Use your thumbs and forefingers to guide a small section of floss between your teeth. Once it's in the space, curve the floss into a C shape against the side of one tooth and gently slide it up and down. Then, do the same for the adjacent tooth before moving on. Once a day is enough. The best time to do this is once a day, preferably in the evening before you brush your teeth. Doing it more often is great, but establishing the once-a-day habit is the most important first step. Expect some bleeding. When you first start, you will likely see some bleeding. This is almost always a temporary reaction. It's the sign of existing inflammation, and as you continue to clean these areas, the inflammation will subside and the bleeding will stop, usually within a week. If the bleeding persists, it could be a sign of more advanced gum disease, and you should see a dentist. Just try it once. The debris and odor you remove will be all the proof you need. Your grandchildren might just start getting closer. 2. Beyond the brush. Essential knowledge for a healthy mouth. Now that we have our 3 pillars in place, let's add some crucial pieces of information that many people, and even some dentists, overlook. The 30-minute rule. There is a critically important fact that most people do not know. You should not brush your teeth immediately after a meal, especially if you have consumed anything acidic, like fruit, soda, or foods containing vinegar. Why? The acid in these foods temporarily softens the enamel on your teeth, making it vulnerable. If you brush while the enamel is in this softened state, you are literally scrubbing away the surface of your teeth. It's like trying to clean a wet piece of paper. It just shreds. I once had a patient who was an overzealous brusher. He brushed 5 times a day, immediately after every meal and snack. Yet, his teeth were becoming progressively more sensitive and were developing noticeable divots. An examination revealed severe dental erosion. His meticulous care, ironically, was destroying his teeth. The solution is simple. Wait about 30 minutes after eating before you brush. This gives your saliva enough time to naturally neutralize the acids in your mouth and for your tooth enamel to remineralize and harden. If you're in a hurry, a good rinse with plain water is sufficient. The power of saliva and xylitol. Saliva is your body's natural mouthwash. It's a miraculous fluid that acts as a natural disinfectant and an acid neutralizer. As we age, saliva production naturally decreases, but there are simple ways to encourage it. Salivary gland massage. Gently massage the area just in front of your ears. on your cheeks. In a circular motion, this stimulates the parotid glands, your largest salivary glands. Doing this for a few minutes, a few times a day, can make a real difference. Hydrate. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Aim for at least 1.5 liters. Tart foods. Just thinking about a lemon can make your mouth water. Right. Consuming tart foods like lemons or plums can stimulate saliva, but do so in moderation, as the acid can be tough on enamel. Another powerful tool is xylitol. This is a natural sugar alcohol that has been scientifically proven to prevent cavities, the bacteria that cause cavities, Streptococcus mutans, mistake xylitol for sugar. They consume it, but they are unable to metabolize it to produce energy or acid. Essentially, they eat themselves to death. A landmark study from a university in Sweden showed that groups who consistently chewed xylitol gum had a staggering 73% reduction in cavity rates. Another study in Finland found that when pregnant mothers chewed xylitol gum, it even helped prevent cavities in their children. Chew a piece of xylitol gum for about 5 minutes after each meal, 3 times a day. The crucial factor is to choose a product that is 100% xylitol. Gum sweetened with regular sugar will be too, of course, cause more cavities. A word of caution: in some people, excessive xylitol can cause digestive upset, so stick to the recommended amount. Choosing your tools. Toothpaste and mouthwash. Toothpaste. Not all toothpastes are the same. The single most important ingredient to look for is fluoride. Make sure your toothpaste contains at least 1,100 parts per million ppm of fluoride. Fluoride strengthens tooth enamel and can even help to repair the very earliest stages of a cavity. I also recommend choosing a product that is free of sodium lauryl sulfate (SLS). SLS is a foaming agent that can irritate the mouth and cause dryness in some individuals. Remember, more foam does not mean a better clean. Be wary of whitening toothpastes. Most achieve their effect with harsh abrasives that can scratch your enamel and, over time, actually make your teeth more prone to staining. For real whitening, you need a professional treatment. Mouthwash. Avoid mouthwashes that contain alcohol. While the initial burn may feel cleansing, alcohol is a drying agent. It dries out the tissues in your mouth, which can ironically lead to worse bad breath. Choose an alcohol-free formula. Also, the World Health Organization recommends not rinsing with anything for 30 minutes after brushing. This gives the fluoride in your toothpaste time to work its magic. So, if you use mouthwash, use it at a different time of day, not immediately after brushing. The guiding principle for all of your oral care is this: it is not about harsh scrubbing or strong chemicals. It is about being gentle, consistent, and using the right tools correctly. Choosing your guardian. Finding a dentist you can trust. Over my 60 years in practice, I have seen many colleagues come and go. And sadly, I have seen some dental practices that choose the easy path over the right one. It is often faster, easier, and more profitable to extract a tooth and place an implant than it is to patiently work to save that tooth. Here is how you can tell the difference. Red flags to avoid. The instant extraction recommendation. Be very cautious of any dentist who, on your first visit, immediately recommends pulling a tooth without a thorough exploration of ways to save it. While some teeth truly are beyond saving, in most cases, a dedicated dentist can find a way. The 5-minute checkup. A proper diagnosis cannot be made in 5 minutes with a single X-ray. A thorough examination requires time. It should include measuring the depth of the periodontal pockets around each tooth, checking for tooth mobility, and a detailed discussion of your health. Aggressive advertising and guarantees. Be wary of practices with flashy ads that promise things like same-day results or guaranteed success. There are no 100% guarantees in healthcare. Every patient is different, and follow-up care is critical. A practice focused more on marketing than on patient care is a practice to avoid. Green flags of a great dentist. They take their time. Look for a dentist who spends at least 30 minutes with you during an examination. A good dentist is one who listens patiently to your concerns, explains your condition in detail, and discusses your treatment plan without rushing you. They are thorough. A good practice will use modern diagnostic tools like CT scans and intraoral cameras when necessary to get a precise understanding of your condition. It's not about having fancy equipment. It's about using the necessary tools to make the right diagnosis. They emphasize prevention. A great dentist's primary goal is to help you avoid needing treatment. They will stress the importance of regular checkups and cleanings, and they will take the time to teach you how to care for your teeth and gums properly at home. They are a fixture in the community. I recommend finding a private practice where the dentist has been in the same location for 10 years or more. A dentist cannot survive for that long in one place without earning the trust and respect of the local community. A good reputation is built one patient at a time. A good dentist doesn't mind spending time with you. They value the time it takes to save your tooth. A bad dentist begrudges that time because they are more focused on the cost. Your future is in your hands. Even today, I see so many older patients who dismiss bleeding gums as a normal part of aging. They say, "Oh, all my friends have the same problem. It's just what happens when you get old." This is a dangerous and tragic misconception. Bleeding gums are not a sign of aging. They are a sign of disease. They are the beginning of a potential landslide in your life. Let me share a stark reality from the 60 years I have spent looking into people's mouths. In my country, among adults over the age of 65, only about 5% still have 20 or more of their natural teeth. The number of people who, like me, have all 28 is less than 1%. It is a sad reality, but when I look closely at that 5%, I see a clear and simple pattern. First, they never miss their regular dental checkups. Second, they are meticulous about their daily care at home. Third, if a problem arises, they address it immediately. That's it. There is no magic secret, no expensive, complicated treatment. They were simply faithful to the basics. Let's review the 3 methods we've discussed one more time. Use a water flosser to flush out the hidden bacteria from between your teeth, like Mr. Jones. You can see loose teeth become firm again. Brush gently and correctly. The 45-degree angle, small circles, for at least 3 minutes. Like Mrs. Vance, you can stop the bleeding and restore your gums to a healthy pink. Finish with an interdental brush or floss. Like Mr. Shen, you can eliminate bad breath and reconnect with your loved ones. Just these 3 simple steps can completely transform the health of your mouth. I am living proof. At 82, I have all 28 of my natural teeth, and I can still work a 12-hour day. My mother, using the methods I taught her, kept her remaining teeth healthy for the rest of her long life. At 91, she was still enjoying steak and biting into whole apples. Please understand, the importance of healthy teeth goes far beyond being a tool for chewing. Healthy teeth allow you to smile with confidence, to speak clearly, and to engage with the world without shame. They allow you to receive proper nutrition, which in turn protects your entire body's health. I have seen it time and time again. When my patients restore their oral health, their quality of life is completely transformed. I think of Mrs. Catherine Reed, who in her 70s was ready to give up on her teeth but allowed me to help her save them. She told me, "Doctor, now that I can eat anything I want, the joy of traveling has come back into my life." I think of Mr. Robert Miller, who, at 75, said, "Now that my teeth are strong, my speech is clear again, and I actually enjoy meeting new people." It is absolutely not too late for you. This moment, right now, is your starting point. Not tomorrow, but today. I know it can seem daunting. Forming a new habit is difficult, but I ask you to commit for just 1 week. I promise you will feel a difference. So, what one thing will you change today? Will you go online and order a water flosser? Will you stop by the pharmacy and pick up a pack of interdental brushes? Or will you simply commit, tonight, to brushing your teeth for a full 3 minutes? It doesn't matter which one you choose. The most important thing is to start. Once you take that first step, the next step becomes easier. Once one action becomes a habit, the others will naturally follow. If you start now, in 3 months, your gums will be stronger. In 6 months, your teeth will be cleaner and brighter. In 1 year, the person you see smiling back at you in the mirror will be transformed. You will be laughing more confidently, eating more deliciously, and living more healthily, and in 10 years, and even 20 years, you will still be enjoying life with your very own teeth, sharing wonderful meals with your grandchildren, and laughing with your friends. I sincerely wish for every one of you to experience a healthy and vibrant old age, just as I have. I hope your teeth, like precious jewels, will stay with you for your entire life. Remember, your teeth are one of the most valuable assets you will ever own. And once they are gone forever. Please, change just one thing. Starting today, that one small change might just be the thing that protects you for the rest of your life. I give you my word, from 82 years of experience. You can do this.